Ozzy Osbourne's final wish was surprisingly heartwarming and so very Ozzy. Most people don't want to talk about death. They avoid it, fear it, push it as far away as possible. But Ozzy Osbourne, he wanted people laughing. No, seriously.
It's time. I shouldn't have lived past 40, but I did. My life's coming to an end. I really can't complain.
Going to get buried, or are you going to get cremated?
I'm not going to get cremated, I'm going to get buried. I think we come from the earth, we should be buried in the earth.
This is true, like
The man known as the Prince of Darkness, the rock legend, whose life became one of the most wildest stories in music history, once explained something surprisingly emotional about he hoped people would remember him. And honestly, it might be one of the most heartbreaking things he's ever said.
I'm dying. It's a fact. There's no need for a doctor to tell me. That farewell performance was something I insisted on doing. I don't want to disappear silently. I have to say goodbye in person.
Because while many people expected Ozzy wanted something dark, something dramatic, something mysterious, he actually wanted something completely different. A celebration, not sadness, not endless crying, and maybe even a joke from beyond the grave.
King it. Oh my God.
Today has been a girl, tomorrow will I find the sun.
Literally, because according to Ozzy himself, he hoped there would be pranks at his funeral, maybe even the sound of knocking from the inside of the coffin. Yeah, only Ozzy Osbourne would somehow turn one of the life's heaviest moments into dark humor. But underneath the jokes, there was something much deeper happening, because over the years, Ozzy faced health struggles that slowly changed his life, and fans began wondering, was Ozzy quietly preparing everyone for a goodbye?
Come to our final song for the ever. Your support over the years has made it all possible for us to live a lifestyle we live.
On the other side on the floor next to Ozzy.
Long before anyone was ready, let's dive in. The most Ozzy funeral imaginable. For someone nicknamed the Prince of Darkness, people probably expected Ozzy to imagine some dramatic gothic farewell, black roses, thunder, chows, maybe bats flying through the sky. Instead, what he described was oddly warm. Years ago, Ozzy openly talked about wanting his funeral to feel more like a celebration than something painfully sad. He reportedly said, "I want to make sure it's a celebration, not a mop fest." And honestly, that line says a lot about Ozzy really was, because underneath decades of headlines, the outrage stories, the heavy metal image, the chows, there were always humor, even when life got hard. And of course, Ozzy being Ozzy, he didn't stop there. He joked about wanting pranks. Imagine this for a second. Everyone sitting quietly, emotional, trying to process grief, and suddenly knocking sounds coming from inside the coffin. Or even better, a pre-recorded video of Ozzy jokingly asking his doctor for a second opinion on the diagnosis of death. It sounds ridiculous and weird enough, also kind of beautiful, because even imagining the end, Ozzy seemed focused on helping people smile.
So I'm gonna go again.
You go 10 times and it's my turn.
But here's why the story feels bigger than just funny funeral jokes, because when people laugh about hard things, sometimes it's not really about comedy, sometimes it's about copying. And if there's one thing Ozzy understood deeply, it was pain. Throughout his life, Ozzy openly talked about personal struggles, addiction, health scares, emotional ups and downs, the pressure of fame. In later years, something else entered the picture, health challenges that changed everyday life. In 2020, Ozzy publicly revealed that he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and while every person experienced differently, it widely understood to be a progressive condition that can gradually affect movement, daily functions, and independence.
It's estimated more than 30 Australians each day will receive a Parkinson's.
80% of people who end up with Parkinson's disease had some gut problems 10 years before.
If I come out of this with some kind of really substantial change in the way Parkinson's is treated.
It's Parkinson's Awareness Month, which means it's a good time to help people who are newer to Parkinson's learn about the disease.
That reality changed things, not just physically, but emotionally, because suddenly conversations about time, energy, and quality of life can start feeling very real. And maybe that's why his comments about death landed differently for fans, because suddenly the jokes felt layered, funny, but also quietly heartbreaking. Did Ozzy think about goodbye earlier than people realized? This is where things became emotional, because many fans began wondering whether Ozzy had been mentally preparing for life's final chapter for a long time, not in a hopeless way, not in a tragic way, but in a realistic way.
Didn't see him going as quickly as he went.
He did. It's only in retrospect that I see that now, because he started saying things to me that I think he was preparing me for when he wasn't going to be here.
I think it's a testament to his talent and his magic.
Yeah,
you know,
I was going to say his magic.
Think about it. When someone lives with ongoing health challenges, especially ones that gradually change everyday life, you may naturally start thinking differently about time, about legacy, about what matters. In Ozzy's case, he often sounded surprisingly reflective in the later interviews, more thoughtful, more emotional, sometimes even grateful, which honestly surprised people, because for decades Ozzy had become larger than life, almost impossible to imagine slowing down. This was the guy who survived chows that would have broken most people, the headlines, the access, the surgeries, the setback, and yet somehow he kept going again and again and again.
Since Dad's passed, is there what's been the standout thing for you that you were like, I was not expecting that?
So hearing him talk openly about he wanted to be remembered, for many fans, he felt deeply human. Like for a brief moment, the rock legend disappeared and you simply saw a person trying to make peace with life. The conversation nobody likes having. There's also something bigger this story touches on, and honestly, it's uncomfortable because nobody really likes talking about mortality, especially when it comes to people we admire. We want legends to stay legends forever, untouchable, timeless, immortal somehow, but reality eventually catches up with everyone, and stories like Ozzy's often forces people to ask difficult questions. What does dignity look like at the end of life? How do people want to be remembered? How do families navigate illness? And how do fans say goodbye to someone shaped entire generations? Now, you have seen online speculations about what Ozzy may or may have wanted medically in private life, but the truth is, private health decisions belong to individuals' families unless publicly confirmed.
Would have loved it. He would have been truly honored to, be a part of this today. So it was,
No, absolutely.
Is political at all? What? I think celebrities just need to keep their mouths shut. Make entertainment, entertain the people. Shut the f*** up. Don't.
It's important not to treat internet theories as facts. What is clearly publicly is that Ozzy spoke openly about wanting humor, love, and celebration to matter more than sadness, and maybe the message says everything. Why fans found this so heartwarming, because here's the thing, most people, when imagining a funeral, think about grief, silence, pain, but Ozzy, he seemed worried about everybody else. That's what makes the unexpectedly emotional. The coffin jokes, the doctor joke, the refusal to turn things into endless sadness, it almost feels like Ozzy's trying to confront people before they even need confronting. Like saying, hey, don't stay broken forever. Smile eventually. Tell stories. Laugh at the madness. And honestly, that feels very Ozzy, because underneath everything, the music, the controversies, the wild reputation, he always had the strange mix of darkness and humor, chows and warmth, madness and vulnerability, and maybe that's why so many people connected with him. He's never really pretended to be perfect. He was messy and honest, sometimes broken, sometimes hilarious, but real, always real. Maybe that's why Ozzy's funeral wishes hit people so hard, because hidden inside the jokes was something deeply human, a reminder that even larger than life legends eventually think about legacy, about family, about memories, about how they want to feel after they're gone. And if Ozzy had one request, it sounded like it was this: don't turn me into sadness. Celebrate, laugh, tell stories, play the music loud. And maybe if you hear knocking from the coffin, just know Ozzy probably planned that too. Because honestly, what could possibly be more Ozzy Osbourne than making people laugh one last time? So let me ask you, would you want a serious goodbye or celebration of life like Ozzy imagined? Because something tells me he'd probably tell us to all stop crying and turn the volume up.